to Dallas to play the Cowboys, it's like, you know, I think Dallas playing with a sense of urgency right now. They have to, you know what I'm saying, and that's a sign of a team that expects to be in it. You know what I'm saying, through the long haul. You know what I mean. I like a lot of these teams. Start off the season and everybody's got playoff aspirations, and it takes about 5, 6, 7 weeks for the real ones to kick in. And granted, injuries happen, but you know I like a team like the Cowboys, you just expect them to, you know, play with a sense of urgency this week. You know what I'm saying? So it's not surprising to see them, beating the Giants right now. The Giants is kind of what we thought. They did win last week. They're 0-2, 1-2 right now, but we were not really expecting much from the Giants. Dallas, would be a team under much scrutiny if they drop this game, like I said, with a tough schedule coming up here, in the middle part of their, first quarter of their schedule will be done. And, for them to be like on the outside looking at playoffs, that would be hideous for them. That's a bad look for that organization right now. Paying their quarterback and, but they're a flawed team. I see a lot of flawed teams, Walt, in the NFC right now. You know what I mean? As we go through it, you got 8 teams that sit in the NFC at 1-2 right now. You know what I mean? Which don't mean nothing, because I think we both can sit here and say the Rams are a playoff team, and right now they're 1-2. You know what I mean? You know, you look at Atlanta, who's looked okay. Their offense has been okay. You know what I mean? They that team's got some offensive firepower, but they flawed. You know what I'm saying? They got a good back end on the defense, but they're flawed. You know what I'm saying? The Cardinals, we seen last week, flawed football team, 1-2. The 49ers, we know they're Super Bowl caliber squad, but right now they're not looking like it. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, we both said we think it could be the preseason, could be the lack of continuity. It could be like the first 3 or 4 games in September always seem to be like rough to get through. You know what I mean? It's like the offense don't look good. Buffalo is really the
It's
only
kind of
Buffalo.
like when your alarm clock first go off in the morning.
Yeah, you kind
And
of
it take your
groggy.
body a minute. Yeah, that's kind of what it is for the
Yeah,
first. It's strange with football though, because you would think that the body attention that they take in a bad way would
mm-hmm.
make them play worse as the season progressed, but that's not really the case. I'm gonna say one thing about which team was it you just mentioned, man. I'm gonna start with Minnesota though, and I look at Minnesota and I say, you know what? They got 2 head coaches, which is a dangerous combination for anybody. Flores was a former head coach, damn good defensive coordinator. He got that Minnesota Vikings defense humming right now. They creating pressure from all over. They getting turnovers. They're what they're doing right now, I think, is something that you typically don't see from like a lot of old school defense coordinators anymore. He's got them out there coverage wise, fire zoning almost every way, which is something, like I said, you really don't see too often anymore. Then you look at them offensively. Kevin O'Connell might be coach of the year.
Yeah.
He gets them to the playoffs. He probably is coach of the year, considering everything that team went through over the offseason, man.
Mm-hmm.
And what they
Yeah.
have is a veteran quarterback.
Yeah.
Now, do I
Turn this
think,
turn
yeah,
his career around. You know what I
do I
mean?
think, but if you ask me, do I believe Sam Darnold, week 15, we're going to be talking about him still in the same light, MVP candidate? Is it possible? It's possible. I don't think that's really going to happen, though.
Yeah.
But what they have, is it sustainable? The defense is sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
As long
Mm-hmm.
as Sam Darnold isn't out there turning the ball over, it's sustainable. If they can develop a consistent run game, it will be sustainable. But are they willing to do that as well? I think Minnesota has their questions about them.
Yeah.
Um, Dallas, man. Where you
Giants.
start with Dallas, though? I mean,
Yeah.
like you said, you paid the quarterback. You off to a 1-2 start. You in desperation mode. Not even 5 weeks into the season. No team wants to be where they're at right now, and they're not the only team in the NFC that's sitting there like that right now. But
Yeah.
they lose, this season is probably over,
Yeah,
man.
1-3. And then you got the Lions in 2 weeks if you're the
Yeah,
Cowboys, you know.
and you ain't played the Eagles yet. Like you still got a ton of tough games on that schedule coming up. So
Yeah. Yeah, if you're the Cowboys, I mean, you absolutely have to have you got to have this game. You know, you got the Steelers Sunday night football coming up in Pittsburgh. I mean, I think that's safe to say Dallas in trouble in that game. Then you come home, play the Lions. Then you got the 49ers in San Fran, and then you are in Atlanta, and then you got the Eagles, and then the Texans. They this team in trouble, man. I could just see it now. I mean, I could see the headlines already, you know, especially, I mean, this game, they not even clearing this game. It just seemed like the defense is okay in Dallas to me, but it's like offensively, they got some issues, man. You know what I'm saying? They real top heavy with CD Lamb. And CD Lamb, rightfully so, damn good receiver. I'm not saying that, but you know, I think that Minnesota did it right by getting Justin Jefferson, you know, Jordan Addison, damn good route runner, another guy you got to account for. You know what I'm
being
saying? They
able to
got
hit on KJ Osborne
yep,
and
KJ Osborne, you know what I'm saying? A couple years, TJ Hawkinson, who's been hurt, but you know, that's another guy. I think I don't trust Aaron Jones. I mean, just getting back to Minnesota real quick. I think that their undefeated streak, I think they lose this week. I think the Packers going to beat that team, man. Yeah, I would say it maybe change if Minnesota was at home this week, but I think it's in Green Bay, so I'm gonna give Green Bay the edge. I think Minnesota going to lose this week, but it just shows just a parity, like you said. And getting back to the Cowboys because that was who you was originally talking about. Um, I don't know what they are. I don't know. Like I seen what's his name, Donnell.
they don't do the necessary things well to win.
Yeah,
If
I
you're
don't.
talking about the line of scrimmage, they don't run the ball and they don't stop the run. You
Yeah,
look at Mozzie Smith.
yeah.
Mozzie came in with a lot of hype around him as a first
Disappointment.
round.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And he's had some back issues. And Mozzie is looking like a bust kind of right now.
yeah.
They never did solve the interior of that defensive line. They can't run the ball. They had opportunities the past two drafts to get a young running back, and I preach that to a lot of veteran quarterbacks. At least organizations, when you have a veteran quarterback that's still in somewhat of their own prime,
Mm-hmm.
you look at what the Rams did with Stafford. They got Kyron Williams over there. They drafted Blake Corum. Now they still have their own set of issues. We're gonna get to the Rams in a minute too. But the best way to get the best out of a aging veteran quarterback that still does have some talent, give him a breather.
Yeah.
And the way you give him a breather is by giving him a young pair of fresh legs in the backfield, a running back.
Mm-hmm.
And Dallas never did that.
Yeah.
They're very aggressive from time to time when they need to be, I guess, and from their point of view, Jerry Jones' point of view. But the fact that you could have moved up and got a Bijan Robinson, that's if Dallas really wanted that at any point in time. You had the opportunity to move up and get him,
Mm-hmm.
a Jameer Gibbs for that matter. Um, your boy that you liked was it Jonathan Brooks from Texas?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
homegrown. Yeah, same
yeah,
state, that type of thing. Yeah, you know, getting Cooper Beebe, I think we both like. You
yeah.
really was high on Cooper Beebe. I think he's already starting and playing center for that team. So I thought that was a good pick. Marshawn Nealon was a guy they took from Western Michigan. I like Marshawn. He's already made some plays in this game they're playing in tonight. So they, like you said, I mean, they need a lot more. I mean, just because we
And
mentioned
Dan
Mozzie.
Quinn not there either
Yeah,
no
we
more.
mentioned Mozzie, you know, we mentioned Nealon and BB, and they do have some guys. I seen Martavia Overshown made some plays so far tonight. You know what I'm saying? Another guy they drafted was hurt last year. You know, the Cowboys, they got some issues, man. And I just see it now. At first, I said I wanted the Lions to be, I was saying they were going to be 4-0 in the coming out the bye, and then they possibly first loss going to be to the Cowboys. There's no way the Lions going to lose to that team. You know what I'm saying? It just, at least not right now. I don't see it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, just picking up another team. What about two things I want to ask you about? In the same division, Washington and Philly, both 2-1. the Commanders look damn good against the Bengals, man. I had Cincinnati winning that game, just because I'm starting to look crazy even picking Cincinnati every week, man. I don't know. We'll talk about the AFC next week, after week 4, but I, Washington's got something, man. They got them a quarterback. I don't I like this is what I like about Jaden Daniels. I'll let you take it away. I know you
Mm-hmm.
quarterback guy. He is frail, you know what I'm saying? He reminds me of a young Lamar Jackson. He reminds me, you know what I'm saying? But I think Jaden Daniels wants to throw the rock first. And I think that's he is, man. Jaden Daniels, they Washington finally got a quarterback. They finally have one. And I think you can go to the front of the pack in this conference if you get a quarterback, and we see it. You know what I'm saying? It's a quarterback. Look at Josh Allen's in the AFC, but I mean, look at Josh Allen just doing what Josh Allen does, and they damn near got the same team. I just think, maybe a new offensive coordinator. I think they have over in Buffalo, and I think that Washington, new management. That Dan, you mentioned Dan Quinn, a defensive guy.
They got
They
Snyder out of the building.
yeah, yep, getting Austin. Yeah. Oh man, he
And
couldn't get out of his own way.
typically that's the main thing
Yeah.
at any place of employment. If you get that one designated cancer
Mhm.
cut out of there, y'all
Yeah, out
good.
of there. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
I,
like
I
I like
just
Washington, man. I
Yep,
do.
I like them too. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And that Terry McLaren, I'll let you take it away here. I just wanted
Oh
to say
yeah.
this.
I'm happy
Get
for Terry too.
Yeah, Terry be ball.
Finally.
He has been productive.
Yeah.
I
But
know
he
he's
he finally
finally
got
like,
somebody
I
now.
got somebody that can get me to rock, man. I love it, man. I love, like I said, I like Austin Eckler, super productive with the Chargers. I think they got themselves something. Brian Robinson runs hard anyway. Yeah, it's another
Yeah,
guy
they
I
got a
like.
handful of backs too.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
they Washington got a good team. Look out, because I mean them and Dallas might switch positions this year, and Washington might be there at the end of the year. You know what I'm saying? Fighting the on a
Yeah.
fringe playoff type thing. So
Yeah. I
I
mean
said it.
they
No,
could
no,
be the
go ahead.
Houston. I'm
Yeah,
just saying
yep.
they could be the Houston of the NFC this year. I mean,
I
it's
can see it. Yeah,
I'm happy. I'm like really, really happy, genuinely happy for Jaden Daniels because great kid, played all those years, those poultry years at Arizona State.
yeah,
They couldn't get any real offensive talent around them. They had the coaching staff in place they had there, but for whatever reasons, they never really could attract like the top tier talent. And that's just Arizona State. There's Arizona State, there's Arizona. Those aren't football schools, those are basketball schools, mainly
mhm,
Arizona for that matter. UCLA has that same type of issue when it
yeah,
comes to recruiting football players. But he was always a super talented player at Arizona State.
yeah,
Played with Brandon Ayuk, and Ayuk was probably the best player he ever played with at Arizona State when he was there for overall. But he never once complained. He never once pointed the finger when he left. And I know y'all remember this. Everybody out there remember this when he left, and some of his former teammates at Arizona State raided his locker and threw his stuff in the garbage and took his shoes and all this other stuff.
yeah,
He never spoke ill on anybody. He watched the video, showed it, never spoke ill on anybody. He went out to LSU, balled his ass off once he got around some real ballers, won the Heisman. He's a late bloomer. And I think what we're seeing right now isn't even close to what his ceiling is. Even though he played, I believe, 4 years. I think it was 3 years at Arizona State and 4 there, one of the two. Either way, he came in a seasoned senior
yeah,
who hadn't even played anywhere near his best football until he finally got to LSU around some real God-given talent.
yeah,
Now you put him, and he's a very bright kid. You put him in a situation now similar to what Stroud had last year. You put him with a defensive head coach. Most defensive head coaches don't. Well, this isn't even Dan Quinn's first head coaching job. Of course, he was in Atlanta with Matt Ryan, but most defensive head coaches don't get a quarterback, and they don't get a quarterback early, let alone. Dan Quinn is a damn good defensive coordinator.
yeah,
You already see that defense looks better than what it did the last 4 or 5 years there in Washington. Now, once he officially starts, he's got his quarterback, and he didn't have to trade all the way up to get him and give up a bunch of draft capital in the future. Dan Quinn has a legitimate quarterback now, we believe, because everything has to evolve, everything has to pan out. But you and I both believe he has his quarterback now. When
Yep.
you're a defensive head coach and you have your quarterback on offense, the guy that you can hang your hat on to say, I ain't got to worry.
Mm-hmm.
I can go focus on my defense,
Yeah.
which is pretty much what Bill Belichick had the luxury of being able to do all those years with Tom Brady. I don't have to worry about my offense. All I have to do as a defensive head coach is worry about making sure my defense is A1 for this quarterback consistently.
Yeah.
I think
That's
Washington
right.
is in a very good place right now, man. They got the same thing with us. When you get the wrong people out of the building, things will turn around.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got to get the right people. You know, you can't replace the bad
Wrong
people with
people with
more
the wrong,
bad people.
more bad people. Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, they got it. I like Dan Quinn. Great dude, great defensive coordinator, and he's got his quarterback now. So I think, yeah, it wouldn't shock me if Washington overtook Dallas this year.
Yeah, yeah, but I think they switch spots. You know what I'm saying? And just what you said, just before we get off to another squad, but yeah, I feel the same way. It's like about Washington because you said it. You know what I mean? You get the right guys,
Yeah,
with the
he do.
right coaching, but two, I think the best a rookie quarterback's best friend is as a first year head coach, in my opinion. A veteran because and then you get off into a good start like they have.
Because
You know
we
what I'm
growing
saying?
together.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Right. So, you know what I'm saying? When you have a good start, and that was a good comparison, comparing CJ Stroud, even though their coach, I can't think his name,
D'Amico Ryans.
yeah, D'Amico Ryans. Yeah. You know, same situation, man. I like you said, I like Washington. They're gonna be good fun to watch here coming up here in the next 4 or 5 weeks. We see if they stay in the race. But Philly is another squad, same division. I think Philly will wind up winning that division. I'm high on Philly for some reason, man. I think that they got too many
You high on them
veterans.
this week? With them
Yeah,
receivers they marching out there?
yeah, well, this the thing. I just want to say this. I agree that if they had to get off to a decent start, or the coach, or they still, if they get into a little slide or lose 3, 4 in a row, then the coach is gonna get fired. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's a given. I'm surprised he made it through the season, through the off season, really how the season ended. But I believe in this team. I think a veteran football team like Philly, I think they could stay in the race, man. You know what I'm saying? Now can they win the Super Bowl or not? I don't know. I do think that's another team. I think the Lions are better than the Eagles. I really do. I think
That's what I was gonna get to, because like
yeah,
when you watch Philly, I get the same feeling from Philly watching Philly that you said you get from Dallas. Like, what are y'all? Like, I see a collection of talent,
yeah,
but when I look at that talent on the field, it's like, okay, y'all don't stop the run very well, y'all don't defend the pass very well, y'all still struggle to really throw the ball from the pocket, from the structure of the pocket. Most of the big plays that y'all get is still either from Saquon. Saquon is the best player on that team right now.
hmm
He's doing it for him. So it's like, I mean, y'all winning, but
yeah,
it's almost like a very talented basketball team that don't
yeah.
have any system. They just
Well,
winning because they talented.
and that's right, and I think that's what I mean. I think the talent is too much there for they at least a playoff team. Just like last year, they might get bounced. I think they will get bounced in the playoffs, but I think out of all of these teams that's 1 and 2 that's jumbled up here in this NFC, I think, man, you would think that Philly would be one of the 7 teams that come out of this conference. You know what I mean? That's the
Oh
only
yeah, no, I expect
leeway
that.
I'm getting.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I don't like you said. I don't picture them as being a championship team. I really like think that Philly it's something left in the tank. I really do. Like season wise, we'll see who they play in the playoffs, how they match up, stuff like that. You know what I mean? But this team is has arguably two of the top 15 receivers in the league. Devonta Smith, AJ Brown's hurt. You know what I'm saying at this point. And I think Devonta, like you said, he's hurt too. But they still got some talent. Saquon Barkley might be the signing of the year, man, for them offensively because he's been great. I mean, they kind of been
I don't know, man. It's
taking the
just
page out of Lions. You know what I'm saying? Like running the football. You know what I'm saying? Just give it to 26 and let him do work. You know what I'm saying? Right now, through a quarterback that's struggling, like you said, I see what's up, E? Made that comparison, putting, Hurts hasn't been to Jalen. It's been about a year and a half, bro. And it seems
not
like
just him, all of them. Like
it,
since that Super Bowl year, remember, they was defensively, they was damn near number one in everything.
mhm,
Quarterback pressure, sacks,
yeah,
forced turnover. Like they were just did they peak though? Because
yeah,
remember, the year before they was a wild card team against Tampa. And then the very next season, they was in the Super Bowl against Kansas City.
yeah,
That team hasn't looked. We haven't seen high level Eagle football since the Super Bowl.
yeah.
We
Could it be
being honest
Fletcher?
about it.
Yeah, could it be Fletcher Cox? Like retire, was
No
he,
leadership.
yeah, exactly. They got Brandon Graham. Brandon Graham, damn
Kelsey
good
not there
leader.
anymore. Yeah,
Yeah, and you got that's what I mean, man. You got veterans on that team. It just seems like
they got a lot of youth too. Maybe it's gotten to a point where there's so much youth on the team now that the vets are kind of
yeah,
like getting phased out a little bit. Because I think it gets to a point in time where even as a vet, if
yeah,
so many young players start overtaking you, not necessarily in a bad way,
yeah,
but if it go from having 8 veteran voices in that locker room to just 3 compared to the rest of the percentage of the team being a bunch of 24 to 21-year olds,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
look at the players, man.
yeah,
Like they've been missing on some players lately too. Like that's a very very talented roster, very
yeah,
at least name wise. But like I said, when you watch Philly, it's like, what do you do well? Like, and E brought up the defense. I think from a name standpoint, the defense is nasty. But Jordan Davis been a disappointment. Jalen Carter, I think with all the hype Jalen Carter had, and I was a huge Jalen Carter guy coming out too. Jalen Carter doesn't look like what you expect him to look like from what we heard about Jalen Carter for 2 years at Georgia before he even took a play. Because remember, they were so deep along that defensive line at Georgia, Jalen couldn't even play initially when he came in. You expect to see Aaron Donald out of Jalen Carter, and you don't. But
yeah,
that some of that goes back to the organization. It's like he's
yeah,
not the only one underachieving, which makes me look at the organization and say, okay, maybe it's not Jalen Carter because y'all got like a lot of talented ass players on this team that's not playing up to par,
yeah.
mainly on defense.
Gonna be coaching. That's what I said.
Yeah,
I'm surprised Sirianni kept his job. To be honest with you, you know what I'm saying? Because somebody got to be to blame. This sports, man. You know what I'm saying? Somebody always get able. You know, they're the scapegoat. You know what I'm saying?
it's
Whether
usually
right
the
or wrong.
coach.
Yeah, right.
If it's
Whether
a
right.
high quality quarterback, it's gonna always be the coach. And if it's a
Yeah,
high quality coach and it's a scrub quarterback, they're gonna get rid of the scrub quarterback.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And like I said, I expect Philly to be there. Like I said, they did, won an ugly game against the Saints, but that defense looked like, they had something cooking last week, like the secondary, Reed Blankenship
Yeah.
was the guy who got the interception at the end. I
Middle
really
Tennessee
liked him.
State.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's like, man, it's something there. So we're gonna hang our hat, look at Philly. Another team I'm intrigued by, super intrigued by is the Packers, man. I think Malik Willis, remember how high I was on Malik Willis when he got drafted. Man, before the draft, I thought that he had super arm talent. He was, yeah, the Oilers. That's a cold Oilers
He
hat too, by the
he was
way. That's what.
thank you, brother. But
Yeah,
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 he
yeah.
was there. I think he got a raw deal too.
Yeah, yep, yep. And I think Malik Willis now you can go out and play, and there's no pressure. And obviously, the man want to be a starting quarterback. You know that, but
He gonna get
the
his money now. He gonna be a
yeah,
backup. I doubt if he get a chance to start anywhere else. But
exactly.
one now
Good
that he
spot
has
for
the
him
opportunity, that's all he needed was the opportunity to show
for
for like a
sure.
good 3-4 game stretch. Hey, y'all, the rest of the teams in the league, I'm capable of running an offense.
That's
Because
right.
once it becomes obvious they never gonna give you another opportunity to be a starter,
Yeah,
now you guys got to figure out how do you stick in the league. So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
I'm happy for Willis too.
Yep, yep. And I think that right now, like I was just gonna say, perfect,
Yeah, nice head.
perfect situation for him. Well, there's no pressure on him. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And he know Jordan Love's the quarterback. I don't think that he's trying to advocate I should be the starter of the Green Bay Packers. I think that that's a perfect spot for him. And I think, like you said, everything works out. You know what I'm saying? When you got a quarterback that's kind of behind somebody, that situation always we always say water finds its level. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And like you said, if it's time for him to be a starter he'll be like a Geno Smith type where he'll get his opportunity later. You know what I'm saying? But right now, to keep that team afloat until Jordan Love come back, I think our division and the NFC is on notice, because let's just say they don't even got to rush Jordan Love, especially if they win this week. And I think they will win this week. And if they win, you're talking about 3-1, 3-0 without Jordan Love, and you don't even have to rush him back, bro. You know what I'm saying? You could maybe bring him back when they play the Lions, I think, in 3 or 4 weeks. I think it is. You know what I'm saying? When the Lions play the Packers,
Uh,
if that
I
requires.
also think it's good for him too, Malik, for the fact that he might have a job now in Green Bay. He may not have to leave Green Bay to find a job. He might be cool just being the backup.
Yeah, correct.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
get to a
There's
point
nothing
where
wrong
as a
with that.
quarterback, yeah, you
Yeah.
figure out how do
Hmm.
you stick in the league? How
Yeah.
do I get this pension?
Right. Yeah.
For that
Yeah.
matter.
That's right. And I like Jacobs look good long as he stay healthy. You know what I'm saying? Just like when Aaron Jones. That's why I'm thinking Eric Jones is fragile with Minnesota, and they gonna need that running game. They really gonna need it sooner or later. But like I said, if Jacobs stay healthy, Green Bay formidable, man. You know what I'm saying? They got deep talent on both sides of the ball. I think the offensive line isn't that great. I think that's
Nah.
where the hole is, on that team. I really do. I think you can get to Jordan Love. I think that's why he got hurt, because they were olaying everything that first game against Philly. So,
I think
Green Bay.
Malik helps them out though, because he's more, even though Jordan's mobile too, Malik
Yeah,
is real mobile.
he'll get out of there. Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
yeah, he'll make a lot more plays with his legs. But
yeah.
one team I want to talk about that you brought up a little while ago, I'm a little higher on them for a couple reasons, and that's Atlanta. One reason is the fact that if you look at, they brought a brand new quarterback in, an older quarterback coming off an ACL injury. First football he's played since what, week 4 of last week, week 5, I think, when he got hurt, when he tore his
Okay.
ACL. Ton of offensive talent, got a stable of running backs, got a great weapon in Kyle Pitts. You got Drake London over there. They got Darnell Mooney, solid offensive line, at least run blocking wise. You got a budding superstar in Bijan Robinson. I think Bijan's the truth. The truth, true. I know a lot of Lions fans feel like it. Since we got Jahmyr Gibbs, we gotta hate Bijan Robinson, whatever. I don't feel that way about Bijan. I know Bijan was your guy coming out too. Bijan's the truth. They got
Hmm.
a couple other running backs over there too. They got the best safety tandem in football. They got a whole front 7 of edge rushers, young ones that's still growing, that's still coming along. Some athletic, undersized defensive tackles. I like the way Atlanta's built, and I think what's going on with Atlanta, and I could be dead wrong,
Hmm.
but I think Atlanta, they strike me as one of those teams that with everything they have in place with a veteran quarterback, they're going to start to figure things out around week 7, week 8, and then they're going to hit their stride.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think so. They got an experienced head coach. Like they've got the experience in the place, and they're a young football team. Offensively, they're a young football team. Defensively,
Yeah.
but they're ran by a veteran head coach and a veteran quarterback. And I'm not that high on Kirk Cousins overall, but Kirk Cousins, if they had just adequate quarterback play last year, they win that division.
Hmm. Yeah.
You know, and I
Yeah.
think they're better than Tampa. I honestly do. I just think Tampa still has that championship soul over there, and that's pretty much it. Because if Tampa was really that good, Tampa wouldn't still be struggling to win this division post Brady.
So
But
they
like you
getting by
said,
with Brady credits. They getting by with.
I mean, we talked
Whether
about it before the video, you know what I'm saying, before the show. If you look at that division, like Carolina, Tampa, Atlanta, New Orleans, on a year-to-year basis, anybody can pull a rabbit out of their hat and win that division with 9 wins. But if I was betting on anybody in that division, I just think Atlanta's gonna figure it out. I just like everything Atlanta has in place. Hell, even if they didn't have Kurt, because there's people in Atlanta still calling for Kurt's head because they never wanted to see Kurt to begin with. They wanted them to trade for Justin Fields.
Mhm.
They got a young fire flamer sitting on the bench right now that's waiting to come in and set his mark and start his career. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I think Atlanta, if they can figure out what to be offensively, because being a head coach, well, sometimes as a head coach, you can be overwhelmed because you're walking into a situation with too much offensive talent. So
yeah,
now you're trying to figure out, I got 3 running backs that could be starters on other teams. I got 2 starting wide receivers. I got a hybrid wide receiver, tight end hybrid cross in Kyle Pitts that nobody can seem to figure out how to use. I got a good young offensive line. I got 2 offensive tackles that have been paid handsomely. I think sometimes as an offensive coordinator and a head coach, you can struggle trying to find balance in how to utilize everybody. Hell, I
yeah,
think that's what we're struggling with right now in Detroit
yeah.
with Jameson Williams and St. Brown and Gibbs and Montgomery. And sometimes you can have an abundance of riches, but I do think Atlanta's going to probably be the team that figures it out and ends up winning that division. Could be completely wrong. Could be Carolina.
Yeah. I'm still Tampa, man. I'm going. I mean, I'm sorry. I got the. No, I take that
You
back.
got the Saints.
Nope.
Why
Heck
you
no.
ain't got the Saints,
That's your
man?
squad. Now, nope. That you telling me how great the Saints was.
They lost a
No,
nail biter, man.
I got Tampa, but I got Atlanta making the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? I think
You think
Atlanta
two gonna get in from that division?
could be, but it depends on Dallas or Washington. I think if one of them, maybe one team goes out of that division, maybe it's Philly or
What about
if
ours?
yeah, our division might get 3, bro. I don't know. It's tough. That's a tough one because Minnesota, Detroit, Green Bay. Look at it. 7 teams make it, right? So you look at the West. Ain't that Seattle, the Rams, and the 49ers, right?
Man, don't
One of
leave
them ain't
Arizona out like that.
Yeah, one of them ain't gonna make it, right? Maybe 2 ain't gonna make it. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
These, you
It's gonna
got
be
6
some good teams sitting at home.
sitting at home because you got 6 teams at 2-1 right now. 8 teams sit at 1-2. Obviously, we got a ton of football to play yet. You know what I'm saying, before anything, shakes out. But I value Tampa a little bit more, but I like the fight, like you said. I'm lockstep with you. The offense, we know Kirk Cousins is a guy that's going to put numbers up and always give his chance. Put pressure on the other team to score. I mean, that's what Kirk Cousins does. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to score 20, 28, 24, 28 points to beat the Falcons. You know what I'm saying? Especially if Kirk Cousins in there. So I like
So what you
having a
yeah,
new coach too. I like having
yeah.
Raheem Morris. I think they needed a coaching change, which was ridiculous. After what one, the Arthur Smith, was it 1 year or 2 years with Arthur
No,
Smith?
Smith was there for 2, I
2 years.
believe.
Oh, yeah.
Did Arthur Smith start the same year Dan Campbell started?
Oh man, I want to say maybe Arthur Smith started after Dan Campbell because Dan Campbell, this is his 4th season, right? I think.
Robert Saleh. I know
Yeah.
Saleh and Campbell
Colin
started the
Campbell
same.
started, at the same time. Yep. And the last team before we, kind of get out of here and wrap this one up, man, is another team let's talk about the Bears. I mean, the Bears is a team that's
Why?
well, because I had high hopes for
No, it's
Chicago.
interesting.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I mean, and granted, they still could win 7 games, but man, Eberflus in trouble. I mean, I don't know how long if he makes it through the season, if they continue to lose. I mean, it's not surprising that Caleb Williams is struggling at quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Because all rookies struggle, man. I don't care. Like you said,
Man,
Jaden Daniels could be this
Eberflus is
year.
part of the problem.
Yeah. I mean,
Period.
when you have like CJ Stroud, and people see that, people see Jaden Daniels, they like, man, why we can't do that? Or if our quarterback can't do what them guys doing, then he sucks. I mean, them guys are
Man.
unicorns, man. That's what we said earlier in this show. Washington got them one. And I think it's every year you get one
Well,
quarterback, maybe
I
that.
think Caleb's gonna be good too. It's just it's weird how people are trying to just completely dump all over him about this. I'm like,
Yeah,
if you look at it for what it is,
yeah,
him and Justin look exactly the same how they looked in their first few starts. So is it their fault or is it Chicago's fault that they both look exactly the same under y'all?
yeah. And I
The
knew that
offensive lines
DeAndre.
both look exactly the same.
Yeah, and the whole DeAndre Swift experiment. I talked to dude. People was I. It was some Chicago fans like getting on my kick because I had made a comment like they was like DeAndre Swift when they signed it. They was some people saying Super Bowl. I'm like, dude, DeAndre Swift can't stay healthy. That's his problem. You know what I mean? And sure enough, I don't even think he hurt. I just don't even think that right now he don't even serve a purpose for that team right now. You know what I'm saying? Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't know. What they were thinking, like saying Super Bowl type thing with just because they had DeAndre Swift. I thought they thought that maybe that was gonna
No,
turn
they were
everything
really
around. You know what I mean?
a lot of that fan base and like a lot of national media who felt that way about them viewed it as a lot of it. I think was a slight towards Justin Fields too, because they really, really tried to make it look like all of that was Justin
Fields'
Fields'
fault.
fault.
Yeah. Yeah. Fields my guy, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad to see him succeed in Pittsburgh. He'll talk about AFC next week. But yeah, I mean, just to my point, like they got hella talent on defense, the Bears do. You know what I'm saying? And they showed it. I
Offense
mean,
too.
yeah, they do. They do. But it's just not clicking right now. We saw Roma Dunze, that's my guy. Hey, he's shown the last couple of weeks that what he is, you know what I'm saying, offensively. Keenan Allen is the guy that maybe,
No,
I don't want
he's
to say
gone after this year more
yeah,
than
I don't
likely.
want to say he
Yeah.
lost a step, but he don't look
No, he
really that
have though.
impressive.
He did he earned the right to lose it. He been in the league
I
for a
bought into
while
the
though.
hype. Walt, I bought into the hype. I remember I said the Bears could be like slow key playoff squad like
I
that.
didn't.
I bought
Mainly
into
because
that.
they kept the coach, and I felt like they kept the coach as another slight towards Justin Fields. Like
We
if
gonna
they
make it.
wanted to
Yeah,
completely start over, they could have. But y'all fired Justin Fields for the most part, and then y'all keep his head coach, basically trying to say, and they just figured, I guess, that Caleb was just gonna hit the ground running. So it was basically like, hey, we're gonna hold on to this coach and we're gonna make it work with another quarterback, and that's gonna extra prove that you were the problem, Justin.
yeah,
No, because Justin having success. Now,
yeah,
Justin ain't looking great from a
yeah,
stat standpoint or whatever in Pittsburgh,
yeah,
but he's playing winning football. And I think that was very key for him because he played so much losing football in Chicago. Not
yeah,
just him as a player, but overall the team wasn't having any success. So it's good for him as a young quarterback, still a young quarterback, to still start experiencing success. But the
yeah.
Bears, I think Caleb is talented enough to overcome it. That's if they get the head coach out of there. Eberflus shouldn't even been able to stick around for none of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Just a quick update on the Tigers. We need the Minnesota Twins to lose tonight to make it a clincher for tomorrow. And they're currently the Marlins are winning 4-2 in the bottom of the eighth inning. So just in case people watching kind of don't know what's going on, we need Minnesota to lose. Then the Tigers wrap that bad boy up tomorrow. So just thought I'd throw that out there. But yeah, the Bears, man, was a situation where I'm like, did this team uh gonna give us some problems. They finally got a quarterback, and I bought in, and it could too still turn around,
it could
but
be next year.
it could be next year. I don't know how good they're gonna be this year. I don't know how far. I'm trying to pull up their schedule real quick.
I
Yeah,
think
they
it's
played
too
it.
many live bullets for them to be successful this year. Too
Yeah,
many good teams that's all competing.
yeah, check this out. They got the Rams at home this week.
Hmm.
Stafford and them boys real scrappy, gave us fits. They play Carolina at home and the Jaguars the next two games, and then they go and play the Commanders, and then they play the Cardinals, Patriots. They got some. They this point of their schedule where after this Rams game, they could, Caleb could win a couple.
You
You
want to
know what I'm
start
saying?
seeing some bright spots.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
get some wins back. So if they a 6-7 win team at this point, they might can get there if they, put string together some wins. You know what I'm saying? If they beat the Jaguars, that could be the beginning and the end for what's his face? Uh Trevor
Doug
Lawrence
Peterson.
and Doug Peterson. Yep. And the Jaguars, that I got a big asterisk by that team, man. Total disappointments. Total.
Come on, Mike. What you want to say that for, man?
Yeah, yeah. Do they go to the
Hey,
title?
quick, man, because one team we didn't touch on, which is supposed to be the greatest team since sliced bread ever created, and that's the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
Now, are we witnessing the great plateau? I mean, I mentioned this, I predicted it last year. I might have been a year ahead, but as we mentioned during the offseason, the Detroit Lions, youth wise, talent wise, coaching wise, staff wise, are still ascending while the 49ers are way closer to plateauing. This is a team that was built around a running back. You don't see too many teams like that anymore. Those teams don't last very long. You see Tennessee eventually move past that. Brandon Ayuk is out there pretty much by himself. Debo has never been able to give them a full season for that part.
Stay hurt. Yep.
Brock Purdy dealing with what is a strained back right now. They got other injuries along that team. What do you make of the 49ers at 1-2?
Yeah. Yep. I'm they are I got them like Philly. You know what I'm saying? In that same they got too much talent not to get there type thing. But you got something, it's something missing with that squad. You know what I'm saying? Like what I'm saying is like uh Shanahan been there, been knocking on the door for a couple years. They've been good for 4 or 5 years. We've been saying the 49ers made it to Super Bowl. They're the team that's can give Patrick Mahomes, and beat that team. And they're the kings in the NFC. But like you said, you only can go so many times, man, before the
Yeah.
football elitists, the powers that be in the NFL, and it's just not gonna happen, man. You know what I'm saying? I think they missed a golden opportunity last year not winning it. You know what I'm saying? When they kind of had as good a chance as anybody to beat Mahomes, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
they didn't twice. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, But yeah, the 49ers, I'm concerned. You know what I'm saying? If you're a 40, I'm not a 49ers fan, but if you are, I can see it's concern. You know what I'm saying? Especially because the quarterback is hurt. Listen, we always said, laugh at Brock Purdy all you want, but he's their best option to win, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And if he get hurt, season's toast, bro. For them. You know what I'm saying? A running game just don't look the same to me. The front defensive front don't look the same to me. They look like right now a team that's beatable. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I agree with
I
Mike on that too. I think
it's hard.
Father Time catches up with these teams too.
It's
And these
hard. Yeah,
coaches,
it's
yeah,
hard to keep it up.
it's not
That's
a
what.
birthright. And I think some of these fan bases feel like they've had so much success for so long that it's their birthright to go to the NFC Championship, or it's their birthright to go to the Super Bowl. Like you said, water finds its level,
Yeah,
and the Lions are creeping up on them like that for the most part. I think the big issue with San Francisco, man, as good as that roster is, they lack, on at least offensively, they lack like a big time difference maker. Now, Christian is that as a running back. I think George Kittle, after C-Mac, I think George Kittle is their next best offensive player overall. But
yeah,
Debo, he's a scheme-based player.
yeah.
Brandon Ayuk, I don't think that's why he didn't get the offers on the market he thought he was going to get. Teams don't view him as that Jamar Chase, that Antonio Brown. Not Antonio Brown, but him either. But
Mm-hmm.
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown.
Yeah, those upper echelon guys, they don't view you like that. They think you're another scheme based type of player.
Yeah,
Um, and you look at it for what it is, man. You have a game managing quarterback who has an aging tight end. He's got a wide receiver slash running back who's never healthy.
yeah,
And everything that they do offensively is generated off of what that running back can get going. Now, have they been able to generate a rushing attack with guys other than him, Raheem Mostert, when he was there, and other guys? Sure. But none of those guys that they've had are Christian McCaffrey. Running
Yeah,
backs wear down. Derrick Henry, he wore down. And when it gets to that point that you realize, okay, our identity as a team can no longer be centered around this damn running back. We have to do more. What more can Frisco actually do? That's my biggest issue with them. I don't see any game changers offensively, like explosive guys that can really change the game. For what I love to say, guys who can tilt the game. They don't really have that in the passing game. They got a bunch of guys who are all scheme based. And if the centerpiece of that scheme and Christian McCaffrey isn't there, what else are they gonna do? And I think we're gonna see the real San Francisco with Christian McCaffrey out. He may be done for even more weeks than what we initially thought.
yeah. Because I heard he had to go out of the country to get a medical, opinion or whatever's going on. He had to go out of the country, man. So yeah, I mean, it could be, it could be a big deal. Injuries play a role. Like you said, and I don't think the quarterback's 100% healthy. So it's obviously worth watching, keeping an eye on. That division's tough, just like the NFC North. I think with the Rams and Seattle anyway. So as the margin for error is little anyway. Remember, and we had the Rams winning that division anyway. I think we both picked the Rams at the beginning of the season. So, but we still obviously had the Niners in as a playoff team, stuff like that. But yeah, I'm keeping an eye on it, Walt. It's going to be interesting these next 4, 5, 6 weeks, man. Once you get to November, the end of October, then then the cream gonna rise to the top. Then you'll see like who's for real. The surprise. We'll see if Washington's for real. We're gonna see. Seattle. I'm kind of more if I had to pick between the 2-3-0 teams who I believe in more right now. I think it's Minnesota, man. I think I believe in what they're doing a little bit more than Seattle. Just because if I had to just pick like just Seattle, talk about them real quick. I don't want to sound like a hypocrite because I'm the first one to bash Geno Smith because I don't know. I'm happy for the brother, man. He done really, turned his career around, his legacy, the last 4 or 5 years, being 3 or 4 years being a quarterback in Seattle. I think he has done some good things, man. You know what I'm saying? He's turned his credibility around. But I don't know, man. I just don't think that I don't see Seattle a team that's gonna dominate this NFC and finish, 14-3 or something like that. They're 3-0 right now. Yeah, they got hella talent. We know, especially in the secondary. We went over it, last, a couple of days ago. You know what I mean? I think the offensive line is average at best, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? But I think that the system works, especially for Geno Smith. You're real comfortable to get him out of his comfort zone. I think you got to you got to get some pressure on him. That's with any quarterback. But I think that they did right by him, getting them 2 running backs. I think that was a good thing to do to kind of keep the pressure off of them. You know what I mean? A little bit. But I don't know, like, if they can sustain, like I said, they're 3-0. I want to see the end of October. Can they be, 5-2? You know what I'm saying? And stay in the race because they're gonna have to deal with the Rams. They got to deal with the 49ers twice. Still they got to play the Cardinals. So, like I said, if I had to just rate the 2 teams right now that are 3-0, I would say I believe in what Minnesota's doing a little bit more. So
Yeah, no, like I said, same thing you said. I love the way Seattle's built. Seattle's got a ton of talent. I like Mike McDonald as a defensive coordinator. I like him as a head coach. I like him personality wise, scheme wise, everything to be a head coach. Now, if is he going to have long term success? We don't know anything about that right now. But Geno's the wild card in all this. And we talk about a lot of these quarterbacks, these journeyman quarterbacks, guys who were deemed as first round busts or whatever. We see a lot of them. Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Geno Smith.
mhm.
At the end of the day, I don't believe Geno's the long term answer because Geno's never proven he's the long term answer. Geno starts the season well, and then he has a bad stretch of games. He's inconsistent. That's what he was with the Jets. He had the opportunity to start with the Giants. That's what he was in the opportunities he had with the Giants, and that's what he's been
Yeah.
with Seattle the 3 years he's been there.
Yeah.
I think he's one of those guys, like he's just too inconsistent up and down to like win with big. That's a big reason why, if you look at how talented this roster is, despite how talented this roster is, they've still been a 8-9 win team, maybe 10 win team the last 3 years. Like they have a ceiling with them. When Geno looks really well, it's because the play action is working. The play action is working because Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet are both healthy, and they're running it at 5 or 6 yards a clip. And now he can get the play action going with DK downfield and Tyler Lockett and all those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Running game not working for Seattle, you get bad Geno. Saw it last year, saw it the prior year to that. Soon as those running backs got hurt, Geno's stats went completely down. They started going on 3-game losing streaks, 4-game losing streaks.
Yeah.
Geno doesn't look good anymore.
Yeah.
So I think Seattle, they're gonna be in the thick of it
Mm-hmm.
because I liked what they have. I like the overall personnel. I like the roster, period.
Yeah. They can
So
run the
they're gonna
ball
be
too.
they're gonna be in the thick
You
of it.
know. Yeah. With them. Yeah.
What do you
So
think about the Giants, real quick? And
yeah,
I
the
bring
Giants.
that up because of
That's,
Daniel Jones, man.
yep. That's why I keep looking to the side because I'm keeping an eye on the score. 17-12.
Yeah,
Dallas and Giants playing. What is it? 5 minutes left in the third quarter. They hanging tough, man. You know what I'm saying? Daniel Jones. I think the Giants are. They're gonna be looking for a quarterback at the end of this season, man. I'm very disappointed. You know what I'm saying? Because the Giants is quietly one of my other teams that I kind of always keep an eye on. I like the Michael Strahan, Justin Tuck teams. You know what I'm saying? The ones that won the Super Bowl, ironically. I was kind of rooting for them to beat the Patriots, when they did. So just low key, always been kind of a Giants guy. More so than the Jets. You know what I'm saying? If I had to pick a New York team, it's
Oh
always
yeah,
been the
yeah.
Giants. But I think the coach gonna get. I think Dayball, his days are numbered. You know what I'm saying? I think they need a whole new reboot. You know what I'm saying? It looked good the first year he was there. Obviously, made the playoffs, won a playoff game. I think they beat Minnesota in the playoffs
Yeah.
on their field too. Knocked them out of the playoff. I don't think much of the job. I think Malik, you called it. I give you credit again. You called it from the start on Malik Neighbors. You know what I'm saying? That kid's a superstar receiver. Love Malik Neighbors, man. There's too many holes on this team. I like Dexter Lawrence. I like
Yeah, I think the
Brian
defense is
Burns.
fine.
Yeah, I like Brian Burns. I like Kayvon Thibodeau. I think they got some ballers, man, on the defensive line. I think the secondary ain't that great. They lost Xavier McKinney. I think McKinney wound up signing with the Packers, I think, if I'm not mistaken. They just got too many holes. They got John Michael Schmitz on our offensive line. We both liked him from Minnesota.
The quarterback erases everything, bro.
Yeah.
Put Jayden Daniels on that team.
Yeah. Dude, Daniel
Well,
Jones.
neighbors wouldn't be there though.
Who's worse? Is Daniel Jones worse than Will Levis? Who's the worst quarterback in the NFL? I think them two guys are probably the worst two quarterbacks in the NFL.
The worst starting quarterbacks in the league right now, man.
By
We need to do a
far.
show about that
and
rank them.
Yeah, yep,
rank the bottom 10.
Oh man, because
I don't know. Trevor's not good. Will Levis is awful. I hate for it to sound like I'm piling on Will Levis, but I kind of am piling on Will Levis.
That was my guy, man. I'm disappointed.
Will Levis got beat out at Penn State. Couldn't win the job at Penn. I forgot who was it. Ian Book. I forgot which quarterback.
Right?
No, he was at Penn State. I forgot whichever quarterback it was that beat him out and went on to not play in the league. Transferred to Kentucky. Kentucky's offense averaged 16 points per game with him as the starter. I'm gonna keep saying this.
That's a talking point.
It's a high button point with me with Levis, bro. And they wanted to blame the talent around him or lack thereof.
Yeah.
How does your offense average 16 points per game for 2 straight years?
Yeah.
And what is he averaging as a starter now?
Less than gotta be less.
I think it's like 17. He averaged like 17 points per game as a starter, bro.
Yeah.
Everything I said about Levis, and I know they're an AFC team, but this Levis thing gets me going, bro.
Oh
because
man.
they was trying to push this narrative that this guy was better than Stroud. He was better than Bryce Young, which I don't know. He might be out, but well, at least Bryce wasn't out there turning the ball over like crazy.
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson, even though the jury's still out on Richardson too. No, Levis is the worst starting quarterback in the league.
Yeah. I mean,
He's
yeah.
by far, man, by
I would
far.
probably argue with you at the beginning of this season. I ain't arguing now. I mean, you know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah,
I mean,
you and a couple people was loving him, boy.
yeah, because I remember the whole draft process. I'm just like, Will Levis. See, I was looking at the measurables.
No,
He
he
looked
looks the par,
he looked like
jawline,
well,
muscles.
I ain't looking like that.
No, but he looks like a guy that walks in the room. I'm a starting quarterback.
Yeah, so like you just he put his
Yeah,
uniform on, you just like dude about to ball, and then it's like you see
arm
him,
strength.
yeah, you see him throw like a dude that was the worst interception I ever seen in my life, dude. I was
The
like,
one against the Bears. Which one?
oh, dude, he threw.
He's got a few of them.
Oh man, dude, he threw an underhand. He was first of all, they blew a 17-point lead in the fourth quarter. That's how you know your quarterback got some issues, whether you're a rookie or not. You should be able to, worst case scenario, just hand the ball off to your running back. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to try to, reinvent the wheel and try to, you got a 17-point lead, bro, with less than 10 minutes to go. You should be able to close that game out. And you can tell just the reaction from the coaches on the side. I can't think of Tennessee's coach. I think it's
Oh,
Callahan.
Callahan.
Yeah, he wanted to kill him. I
It
mean,
was dumb.
oh
It
man, he
was
wanted to
dumb.
kill him. It's just like, and he's still making bonehead plays in week. This week, if he, dude, he may get pulled. Trust me. I bet they wish they had Malik Willis now. You know what I mean? I mean, if he keeps it up, I just, man, I just can't stand horrible quarterback play. It just gets my goat, man. It's crazy. You got to be smart with the football. And a lot of these teams, that's why I said I think Jaden Daniels in a good spot, because it's like, when you not saying that they in their locker room they probably expected more, but the media wasn't expecting Washington, right, to be a team that's gonna be
Right.
a force in NFL. You know what I'm saying? So that's a different kind of pressure. Like Jared Goff got a different kind of pressure on him now. You know what I'm saying? Him getting a contract, him getting to the NFC Championship game, damn near making it to the Super Bowl. It's pressure now. You know what I mean? It's
Levis needs to
expectation.
sit for 2 years. Yeah, he
Uh,
need to sit down right now for 2 years.
yeah. Oh yeah, you're right, Mike. Mike.
Go ahead
Yeah,
and sit down for 2 years, my guy.
yeah. So Daniel Jones, we can say I think we in agreement. Daniel Jones is better than Will Levis, but they both stink. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Daniel Jones hasn't done nothing crazy tonight, but to the most part, get the ball, Malik Neighbors, man. And where's what I want to ask you? What's up with Jalen Hyatt? I don't know. Is Jalen Hyatt hurt or
I have no
receiver?
idea.
I don't know. I don't have. Sorry, I don't have the injury report in front of me for the Giants, but I was real high on Jalen Hyatt. Hendon Hooker, Jalen Hyatt was that combination in Tennessee, man. And Jalen Hyatt, you haven't heard a peep out of him since he got drafted. Super talented guy,
Yeah.
man. It's crazy how you mean
Track
players
guy.
get to the league and then Walt is nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing. You don't even see him. It's crazy. So
Well, I'm gonna just say one more thing about Will Levis. He puts mayo in his coffee and he eats banana peels. So that right there should let you tie those two things I just said with his on-field decision making. Tie those two things, and it'll
yeah,
all make sense why he makes the decisions he makes on the field, man. But yeah,
yeah,
I just think overall, man, the NFC. So we can go ahead and get out of here. I think there's a bunch of 1 and 2 teams who are gonna probably end up coming back and winning their divisions. Just slow starts. It all depends on when you get your injuries, who you play early.
yeah,
Matchups matter. I think the Rams are a team that maybe I overestimated because what's going on with them, it happened against us and it happened against Arizona. And we said this before week 1. While that front seven is athletic and can get after the quarterback and has the potential to get after the quarterback, they also very light in the back pockets. And you can run on the Rams. We ran on them. Arizona ran on them. Now, Arizona shouldn't be able to run on nobody. So when the Cardinals ran on the Rams, it made me look like, okay, you know what? If and I understand it's a divisional opponent, Arizona Cardinals. That Cardinals offensive line isn't good enough to be able to bully nobody. And they was able to bully the Rams. So that right there made me look at the Rams and say, okay, you know what? While all of these teams are kind of matchup based anyway, there's certain teams we may not match up well with. The Rams are a team that if you can run the ball and you're dedicated to running the football
Mm-hmm.
and you can at least generate a little bit through the air offensively, you can
Yeah.
beat the Rams. You can definitely beat the Rams now. And I had this conversation with someone the other day about who the best quarterback in the NFC is. I still think Stafford is probably the best quarterback in the NFC. So any given Sunday, you put the Rams out there with Sean McVay. Experience takes over. They do have a lot of talent on offense as well as defense. Can they catch some teams slipping and win some games? They can, but they
Yeah.
do have their limitations overall.
Yeah, and Mike Barker, he's right. Jalen Hyatt route running, that is true because Jalen Hyatt ran the go route to perfection, and that's about it. You know what I'm saying? Downside, so Mike is very right on
Well, he
that, and
didn't
I
deal
think
with a lot of any real coverage either. Like he was
I,
getting a whole lot of free releases, schemed up free releases with that offense that Josh Heupel was running. So yeah, I mean a lot of these offensive coordinators, man, in college, they not doing their wide receivers or their quarterbacks any just do it all, man. Like how are you learning to become an NFL wide receiver if you run it against air? Like
uh,
all game long is just air.
yeah, just being fast. I think like Malik Neighbors, man. You know,
Oh no,
just
Nate Neighbors for real.
yeah, him,
He
and
might
then
be
I
more so than Marvin.
Yeah, yep. And then last year, you know how high I was on Jordan Addison, man. Jordan Addison got hella footwork, good route runner. You know what I'm saying? He can shake loose, always find a soft spot, man. Not afraid to go over the middle. Just that's what I see in receiver play. And let's be honest, I think across the board, before we get out of it too, I think the offense is down. Well, I think the only two offenses that look really good is Kansas City and Buffalo. I think them two teams right there, you know, that's the AFC. That's again, it's not the NFC. But think about it. In the NFC, okay, maybe you can say Minnesota's offense. Seattle, I think Seattle had a big game against the Patriots. Um, but other than that, I mean, even Philly and New Orleans, two teams that I had a definite. I took the over on that game last week, and it was 15-12 last week. You know what I'm saying? It was like both teams. I mean, I guess they offense. I mean, I guess their defenses came to play, but it just
I
seemed like the
don't some of
offense
them
is down.
spreads. So some of them spreads be silly. Like even
Yeah,
as bad as you may view the Giants, how in the hell were they 15 and a half underdogs last week at Cleveland?
yeah,
Cleveland stinks. Mainly
man. I
because of
thought
the mainly because of the quarterback play.
I
But
was wrong on the Browns. I thought another team. I thought the Browns would be. The Browns was.
that scandal took a lot out of that man. I'm
Miles Garrett,
telling
it's just like can they just trade get off my can they just let but just can you just trade Miles Garrett over here? Bring him over here. You
oh, I
wasting the
thought you
guy
about to,
career.
I thought you was about to ask, can they trade Deshaun over here?
Nah. I'm talking about Miles Garrett. You know what I'm saying? It's like they would never do it. That would never happen. But it's like just
if
you
Miles
wasting the man time, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the
Oh no,
dude is
Cleveland ain't going nowhere because they don't have a quarterback.
yeah.
But they've
That's
never
what I'm
had
saying.
one.
You
So
wasted Miles Garrett time, man. You know what I'm saying? So
well, they paying them.
yeah.
So they paying them to waste his time. So it's all good, I guess, man. All right, so you know what, man? We're gonna be back Saturday morning, right?
Maybe Sunday. Maybe Sunday.
Sunday morning or Sunday evening. Well,
No,
not
yeah,
Sunday evening.
no, yeah. Well, it probably have to be. Oh man, it may have to be
Or
Saturday
tomorrow.
afternoon. Yeah, maybe tomorrow night. Tomorrow night would be good because Saturday and Sunday won't be good early for me. So
So we can go ahead and break down
yeah,
Seattle.
yeah, we could do it tomorrow night. Obviously, it's a lot to talk about, you know, with this upcoming game with Seattle, man. Because listen, this is it. I mean, you're not. This is it, but I'm saying this is the competition right here, man. You know, this is a team that we're gonna have to beat. We're gonna have to walk through this team and get through what's going on in this conference, because you don't want to be on the wrong side of a tiebreaker this year, I think.
It did, man. That
Yeah.
scandal took a lot of him, man. That man was looking like Puffy for when he was going through that stuff. I thought he was about to start breaking out a few gray hairs, man.
Yep. Yep.
But no, I'm just saying, like, the scandal and then not playing football for 2 years and, switching teams, switching offensive coordinators, switching head coaches, switching everything. I just think that it did the pressure too.
Yeah.
You can be as great of a player as you want to be, man. I think that any of us can succumb to pressure. Any of us. And I
Of
think
course. Of
it
course.
was just way too much going on in Deshaun Watson's life, man, over that 2-year span. And then going to Cleveland. Cleveland is just known for bad quarterback juju. So now Deshaun might be on that t-shirt with the rest of them boys, man.
Yeah. They didn't had, I think it was, oh man, they didn't had like over, I don't want to get the number wrong. I thought it was like over 30 quarterbacks since
Man.
since the 80s or something. It's been 40. It's been a ridiculous number of quarterbacks.
How many you think you can name?
I can name a lot of them. Tim Couch,
Ty Detmer, Spurgeon Wynn.
Who?
I know you don't remember Spurgeon Wynn.
Nah, man.
Spurgeon Wynn. Somebody remembers Spurgeon Wynn out there. Jason Campbell.
Well, you will. You remember Spurgeon Wynn back what junior high he went to.
Brandon Wheaton.
Yeah, I remember
Johnny Manziel.
Wasn't he from Oklahoma State?
Yeah.
You have Johnny Manziel.
PJ Walker.
Yeah, PJ Walker.
Kelly Holcomb. Derek Anderson.
Yeah, remember Derek Anderson? Yeah.
Man, I bet you I can get very close. I'm
gonna just do this. I'll just do this real quick. Let's see. Cleveland Brown quarterbacks. Since I don't know, I'll say.
Oh yeah, Brady Quinn too.
Yeah, Brady Quinn from Notre Dame. He was yoked up. Yeah, since 2000 and since 2010. You think you can get? Okay, you said. Go ahead. Let's start again, Walt. Let's start again. Man, you said Spurgeon Wynn. He on here too. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Since
2010.
Yeah, since 2010. Just let's see if you can figure it out. One guy is a head coach right now. One guy, he head coach. One guy is a has-been announcer, but he won a Super Bowl as a quarterback with another team. Oh man, this list is terrible, man.
Oh no, I'm pretty but the head who the hell is the head coach?
The head coach.
Oh, Doug Peterson.
Yes. Oh
Doug
my
Peterson.
God. Yes, Doug Peterson. He was quarterback. Yeah, he was born in 1960. yeah, he was quarterback.
Whatever, Mike. Yeah, Doug Peterson. You got Doug Peterson. We got since 2010 though.
Yeah,
I know Jason Campbell, Johnny Manziel, as you mentioned, Spurgeon Wynn, Brandon Wheaton.
Yeah, you missing two guys. I know you know. One is a brother. I know you know him. Two of them is a brother. Three of
Joshua Cribbs.
Joshua Cribbs, he's a return guy, man. He ain't no quarterback.
No, well, I mean, he took plenty snaps in the Wildcats quarterback, so he was another one of them. But yeah, like I said, Derek Anderson was another one.
Yeah, Derek Anderson. Yep.
What was my name? Because he been the starter. Brian Hoyer.
Brian Hoyer's on the list. Yep.
Yeah, Brian Hoyer was a starter over there.
One quarterback. He was quarterback for the 49ers and the Lions.
McCown.
Josh McCown. Not him, but yeah, that's a good guess. Yep.
McCown was there.
Yeah, 49ers. He had a lot of. He had a lot of.
Man, listen, Mike. I don't know how we got on the topic of Cleveland, man. I forgot how we got on the topic of Cleveland, but we ended the drift. You're right, we did drift.
All right, real quick, Jeff Garcia. That's what I was talking about.
Oh,
Ty
Jeff
Detmer,
Garcia.
yep. Trent Dilfer, and the brothers. It was Deshaun Kaiser, Jason
Yeah,
Campbell,
him.
Robert Griffin III, and Seneca Wallace. Remember Seneca Wallace too?
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah, Mike, man, good thing you were still there. You pulled us back because we got to talking about the Cleveland Browns and quarterback futility and all this other shit, man.
uh,
But all right, so we'll be back tomorrow night to start breaking down this Lions Seattle game that we
yeah,
will both be at, right?
yeah, for sure.
All right,
For
we
sure.
both gonna be down there Monday night for the game too.
Yeah,
Um, anybody out there, comment section, if y'all gonna be there, let us know. Might meet up with y'all or whatnot. But even though Ford Field gonna be rocking, it's gonna be a little too loud to be meeting up with people for that matter. But
yeah.
so all right, we are out of here. We will see y'all tomorrow night breaking down Seattle.